Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello and welcome to the National League. Listen, Arsenal face Aston Villa. Tough test. I think it's early. It's early for Arsenal. But Moreno's here. Moreno's here. Martin said yesterday he would prefer Moreno over Gundogan. That was a crazy take a little bit. But yeah, some Arsenal fans actually agreed with him. We'll talk about that a little bit. But I want to talk about the football. Arsenal. Manchester City, of course, face an easy game against Ipswich at home. Of course, Man United go away to Brighton. Chelsea go away to Wolves. Chelsea need to improve massively because they cannot lose a back-to-back games in the Premier League, of course. Absolutely embarrassing performance yesterday, I think, against Servette. And Liverpool. Liverpool, I think, are going to smash Brentford and send a message to everyone. But listen, we have Rory back. He's back, guys, after a while. So he's back. Nobbins is here, always committed, always here. Nobbins, of course.
Oh, Rory
Ahmed
was
is here,
ill.
of course.
Chill. You said I'm committed. That suggests Rory wasn't committed. Chill, he was ill.
No,
Yeah.
yes, okay. Sorry, I said that wrong.
Crazy.
Rory's
As Rory's
always
lawyer, that's
committed.
crazy.
He was ill.
Thank you,
Rory's
Nobbins.
lawyer is here. Rory's ill. Thank you, Nobbins. No, actually, yeah, I said that wrong. I have to take the L here. I have to take the L on this. I have to take the L. But listen, Grigs just woke up. I texted Grigs and said, you have to come and talk about Man United and Chelsea. Apparently, he's getting a lot of heat from the Chelsea fans, as he mentioned before.
Chelsea.
Because he said Marseca is a puppet. That's what he said. So, anyway, and Ahmed is here, of course, instead of Dan. Dan is away. He's going to be back on Monday. Dan is away. But listen, big up everybody that is in the chat. Hit that like button if you just joined us. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. This is your Rational League show on a Friday and a Monday, of course, in the same time. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. The guys are here. We're going to talk about the football. We'll try to stick to the football. But listen, how is everybody feeling before the weekend?
Lovely.
Relaxed.
I'm not actually
Nervous.
watching the football. I'm going to a wedding, but I'm chill. I'm good. I'm vibing.
A Chelsea fan say I'm chilling and relax is kind of crazy.
And listen, I'm to talk about my life, man. I'm relaxed in life, so you know what I mean.
Okay, all right.
Got to separate
Alhamdulillah.
football and life, man.
Alhamdulillah.
Got to separate football and life, man. Come on.
Alhamdulillah. Big up everybody that is here. I think we have to start only with one thing, with Arsenal versus Aston Villa. Let's just start there. How big of a test for Arsenal this is? And Mikel Merino, I don't think he's going to play. He's doing his medical today, as reported by Fabrizio Romano. I don't think he's going to be in the matchday squad. Arsenal still in the hunt for a forward. That's just publicly now. Fabrizio, David Ornstein, everyone said that. Khalas. It's not like, they're in or not. They are looking for a forward. They just need the right guy. But facing Aston Villa, Arteta versus Emery again. Last season, it was the game probably that people said that lost Arsenal the league. I don't think it's going to be this game. However, it's a big test about the Arsenal mentality, about how Arsenal are going on through the season, especially because you're playing away from home. Because Manchester City faced Chelsea last game and they were calm and composed. And it shows that City are going into the season not nervous. They won 4 in a row. I think Arsenal need to go to this game calm, composed, just play their football. I know that Aston Villa, especially Emery, have this, for some reason, vendetta or something against Arsenal. I don't know what, but listen, tough game. Talk to me about the game, Rory. How do you expect it? What do you see happening? How do you think approaching the game should be?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's going to be a tough game, definitely. Like I said, yeah, Marino definitely. He actually can't be in the squad because I think he'd have had to have passed his medical by midday today. But I don't think, even if he had done that, I don't think he'd have been, or at least definitely not starting or anything like that. The game itself, yeah, look, Villa have been or Emery in general has been a bit of a problem for Arteta. I think Arteta's faced Emery 5 times, won 1, drawn 1, and lost 3. So, yeah. So he's got his number to an extent, or seemingly. I mean, look, I think last season we actually we lost to them both games last season. I think we got a little bit unlucky in both games. The one at Villa Park, we had a big penalty shout for Jesus that wasn't given, and then we scored that equaliser late on that got ruled out for the handball. And then in the game at home, I felt like we actually had the better of them in the first half and just didn't take our chances. So, yeah, it's one of those. Tomorrow, we played all right against Wolves. I think we weren't electric, we weren't at our absolute best, but we weren't bad. Villa, I would say, pretty much the same against West Ham, and it's a tough game. Look, it's a tough game, and if we can win it, I think that would be a big win to get to go away to Villa Park early in the season. And get a win would be big for us. But look, I think it will be a very similar starting lineup to what we saw.
Do you think Arsenal should approach the game cautious? Maybe a point would be all right.
No. It's too early in the season to start dropping 2 points at Villa Park. I think we should be going there for the win, and I think we will. The thing
I think you will against Villa.
Well, the issue is, let's say we drop 2 points there, and we're happy with that, which I wouldn't be. We've then got Brighton at home, and then we've got Spurs and City away. So there's arguably Spurs and City away. If you've got the mentality, you can drop points against Villa away, well, that same mentality would have to apply to Spurs and City away. All of a sudden, you could have dropped 6, 7, 8 points after 5 games, which would be horrific. So, I think we have to go to Villa, and I think we have to win, but it's tough.
Does anybody see Arsenal favorites for this game?
Yeah, they're the better team.
Yeah, of course.
At home, even Villa at home.
Yeah, they'll be the favourites. So they are the better team, of course. Whether that means they'll win easily, that's a different conversation. But if you had to assign odds, then of course an Arsenal win is the most likely outcome, surely, because Arsenal are very good at the football. I know Villa are good as well, but it is Arsenal at the end of the day. So yeah, of course, it's not gonna be easy. In the same way that City at Stamford Bridge, it's not an easy game, but we definitely would have been the favourites going into that. Yeah, 100%.
Chelsea or Aston Villa aren't the same, Novind.
Quite similar, to be fair. I think they'll end in. I think this season they'll end in similar areas of the table. Yeah, I don't think there'll be a massive difference between the two.
I saw both squads on the weekend. Villa are far superior when it comes to as a squad to Chelsea. I looked at Villa's bench. I'm not gonna lie, Villa might have one of the best squads in the league. I think it might be top 4. Because when I look at that,
really,
look, they take off Ollie Watkins, they bring on Duran. They take off that Morgan Rogers kid, they bring on Jacob Ramsey. It's like they have quality players all over the pitch. They have a lot of signings. And Emery obviously is a good coach. And it's going to be their opener at Villa Park this season as well. They're excited for the season. They have Champions League football to look forward to as well. I think the place is going to be rocking. I'm not saying Arsenal shouldn't be favorites, but it's going to be a tough test for Arsenal's mentality in terms of how they look early on in the season, because like Rory just mentioned, that first 5 games, obviously you just got past Wolves. It's going to be a tough test. You can't drop too many points, because then you give Man City the advantage from early, as opposed to the past 2 years. At least you were higher than them in the table for at least the first 2/3 of the season, and then they passed you. So if you already concede to them early on in the season, it proves even more difficult for Arsenal. So I think Arsenal are going to have that in the little back of their heads a little bit about the games upcoming, that they can't really drop points too early in the season. So I think that might play into Villa's advantage more than anything.
I would just probably say, if you're Arsenal, it's probably a way for you to set the standard. If you're going to win the league this season, you haven't beaten Aston Villa last time. This time, you go there away at home, you beat them there, bro. You set a standard for yourself to say, I'm trying to push myself on. I didn't beat you last time, but I can beat you this time. So I think for me personally, if you're Arsenal, you just got to go there and beat them. Simple as that for me, really.
Who should start for Arsenal on the left? Is it Trossard or Martinelli this
time? Probably Martinelli for this game, just because of the pacing behind. Like, Villa will still play a high line, and that Martinelli pacing behind I'd probably use for it. But yeah, I do think we're at a point where they definitely, you switch between Trossard and Martinelli depending on the opposition, rather than just you start Martinelli and Trossard comes off the bench. Like, I do think we're at that point now. But for this specific one, I still think Martinelli is more suited.
In my opinion as well, like Martinelli, yes, more suited, but you cannot just keep saying that Martinelli will come back to the form that he was in 2 years ago. At some point, Arteta has to say, no, you haven't come back to that form. Maybe you need time on the bench or be off the bench. You come off the bench and start Trossard. Because today there are links with Nico Williams again, which is, I don't know how that is.
That's not going to happen. We're not going to do Williams. I do think we are going to sign a winger or at least an attacking player before the end of the window. Because if you just look at, if we lose Nketiah, which we're going to, however you rate Nketiah, he's still a squad player that has picked up minutes that he's had to pick up over the last couple of seasons. If you look at it now, Jesus is our second choice striker and probably our second choice winger, right winger for Saka. A Jesus injury, which, let's be honest, is not unrealistic. Suddenly your attacking depth is really weak. So I do think we'll get a winger. But in the case of Martinelli and Trossard, I think in the home game last season against Villa that we lost, I think we brought in Trossard, and the point was, when we get a chance, Trossard needs to be there because he'll score it, and he missed the sitter. So there's still no guarantees with Trossard that you're going to get those goals anyway. But with Martinelli, I just think you play Martinelli for, even if it's 60 minutes, you play him for 60 minutes, and then you bring Trossard on against a more tired defense. I just think. Yeah, I think that makes more sense. But look, we do need more. We do need more out of Martinelli. I think Marino, hopefully, will have a big impact on that. But that's just kind of where we're at.
Can I ask you something about that, Rory? And everybody as well, like anybody in the chat as well, if you want to get your opinions in. If Marino comes in and Thomas Partey is fit, would you start Marino?
Yes.
Over who?
Partey. Rice at 6, Partey drops out.
Partey has been your best 6 when he's fit over the past, like the 2 seasons ago when he was fit, he was amazing.
Since he came back from his last big injury, I don't think he's been sharp enough. I think and Arteta alluded to it himself, he leaves us slightly vulnerable defensively. His lack of mobility, and he makes risky passes, right? And when they pay off, he has a talent that no one else in the squad has. And we saw it against Wolves 2 or 3 times, it goes wrong, and then he doesn't have the ability to make up for the mistake, and it leaves us vulnerable. And so I think long term, look, I don't think Marino will start a game until after the City game, because they're such difficult games to walk into and to pick up the Premier League pace straight away. And we know with Arteta that he likes it, other than Declan Rice, who we brought in and had the whole preseason, he likes to bed a player in. I think Marino, I think it's Leicester maybe that we play after City. I think that'll be the first time that we see Marino start. But long term, yeah, I think it will be Rice, Marino, and Odegaard.
Like
Because
4 games from now.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
I think so.
Looking at Arsenal depth now, do anybody here like agree with me? If Arsenal get a forward and they have Moreno now, Arsenal have the strongest depth in the league. Anybody disagree with this?
I think
Looking at the starting 11, if you have Moreno off the bench, if you have Calafiori off the bench, if you have Jorginho off the bench, and you have Trossard off the bench, and the other forward that is going to come in off the bench, I think that's enough. I think you don't need more than 4 players that might start for a lot of teams to be off the bench. No?
I still think City squad still.
I'm just
up
trying to
there, right?
think.
City don't have wingers, though. They don't have wingers. They have Savinho and Doku. That's it.
If we've got Grealish and Bob as well.
Grealish.
I know Bob's broken his leg, but he's coming back in a few months.
And Foden
Jack
can do it.
Grealish. Jack Grealish is linked to move away this window.
Well, those
That
links are
means
bollocks.
I don't think Pep Guardiola absolutely.
You can shove those links up your ass because he's not going anywhere.
You're still rooting for Jack Grealish.
I'm rooting for him to not leave in the next week or so. Yeah. Hello. I've not seen that anywhere.
You think Jack Grealish is a good depth for Manchester City?
Yes.
He's no.
So is Ilkay Gundogan. In midfield. If we're going into the midfield.
Putting
I wouldn't
Gundogan and
say-
Jack Grealish in the same sentence. Not
Phil Foden, Kevin De Bruyne,
I wouldn't
Matthias
say
Nunes,
Grealish.
Enrico
Oh,
Lewis.
I wouldn't say Grealish is any worse depth than Trossard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, plus Grealish does a good
Absolutely,
job in the
Trossard.
City
I
system.
would rather have Trossard than Grealish.
Yeah, but you're a fraud, so
But I think City would rather have Grealish than Trossard.
yeah, of course.
Grealish can do a job in the City system, so I
Yeah.
think off the bench he works for them.
After what you see from Doku and Savinho, people still think that Grealish is good for Manchester City.
He's not
The
good.
thing is,
but
Maybe
thing
I
is-
watched
Maybe
him
not as
for
a star.
different
Again, not as a
years.
star, bro. But maybe
He's
from
a
a depth
backup, though.
perspective,
He's a
yeah, from
backup.
a depth perspective, yes.
Your question is
100
about
mil,
depth as
100
well.
mil backup is crazy, but he's still a backup.
That's
That's what
I
I'm
think
saying.
you've got
Trossard as a backup.
Yeah, but I
is-
still
is-
think
is-
both squads are still in the position, I think, where they've got 2 players that a long-term injury to them would be a real problem. For Arsenal, it's Saka and Rice. And for City, it's Haaland and Rodri. Where I think you look to the bench. Yeah, there are solutions there, but there's a big drop-off. And you probably have to change the way that you play. Outside of that, I think it's probably pretty even, depth-wise.
To be honest with you, Gundogan provides 2 players. Like Gundogan by himself is 2 players in the midfield. I have to give that, right? The DM for Rodri, and he can play the 8 as well. And I think people say he doesn't have the legs anymore. I don't think so. Gundogan never played with the legs. Never played was like, oh my God, I'm gonna run my ass off on the pitch. Gundogan is someone who plays with the brain before he plays with the body and the athleticism and all the stuff. So that is quite easy to do with a player with that much experience. So Gundogan, Oscar Bob. Yes, Oscar Bob. He's injured now, and also Oscar Bob is still very young, and the guy hasn't had a role in any first team football. But
we all know the quality of this guy. Like,
Yeah.
we
I
can
feel like
just
this season was going to be his season. Like I know, obviously
yeah.
he got the leg injury, but this season
I'm
was
not-
really meant to be.
Yeah,
I
season,
think
like,
he has
pushed off.
he has the highest ceiling of any City winger, in my opinion. I think he has a higher ceiling than both Doku
Really?
and Savio. Yeah, I think he's top quality.
Yeah, it's some place you can tell their quality. I know
I
it's
like
not. I only had like 2 league starts last season, but I know it was only preseason. But it was unreal in preseason. It was great in the Community Shield. This is going to be a season in terms. I think maybe that right wing spot was going to be his position. To be honest, and he and Savio were going to be competing. So yeah, of course, Bob's again. I know he's injured, but of course, Bob's really good depth out wide as well. Yeah, City have 4 very good wingers now, which is what we didn't have last season. And as Rory said, players who can fill in out wide if needed, i.e. Foden, i.e. Bernardo Silva, can also do that if required.
I think the main aspect is Pep Guardiola integrating Rico Lewis and Oscar Bob and Savinho into the team, which is, we know that Pep does that very easy, to be honest. Pep does that very easy. Like he can ease a player in. He did it with Foden. He did it with Kovacic. He did it with Rodri even. Pep is very easy to do that. Does the City need anything else? Nobbins, from the market?
I personally don't think so. I know that we've been linked with a move for another striker. I personally don't think that's necessary because I know lots of people don't like the false 9 system, and I'm obviously a fan of a normal 9 system, but Haaland, bar an injury, is going to be starting 32, 33 Premier League games. So in terms of like those 5 or 6 games where he's not starting, again, bar an injury, which you can't quantify for anyway, you might as well just like play Bob there at false 9, or Bernardo there, or Foden, or Kevin, or Gundo. Like, we've got loads of players who can do that. So I'm of the view we don't need to sign anyone. The one signing I wanted, as I've said for like a year now, was that Gundogan replacement. We've now got the best short-term Gundogan replacement out there. And we'll see what happens next season. But yeah, in terms of, I spoke with Rory on this on Twitter as well, I'm now like of the opinion that City's squad is far more balanced now. And I'm now willing to say that I will predict City to win the title, because I was waiting for that signing. I had Arsenal's favourites. I personally now think it'll be City based on that Gundogan coming in.
Everyone else think City are still favourites to win the league.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's only following the Gundogan signing. Again, I did think it was going to be Arsenal. Changed my mind now.
Yeah, I was like 50-50 leaning on the side of Arsenal because I'm biased. But I do think the Gundogan, it was the only real weakness you could pinpoint in their squad, and it's patched. So
I'm not gonna lie.
Haaland,
Gundogan or no
no
Gundogan, I
forward,
had
no cover for Haaland.
Yeah, me
Nobody
too. I
thinks
can't
that
lie
at
to you
all?
as well.
But again, you don't
No
need a direct 9 replacement, because again, first of all, he's going to play the majority of the games. But then secondly, we've got players who only a few years ago were playing false 9 football. Like, again, Gundogan can play at false 9, and Grealish did it, and Bernardo did it, and De Bruyne did it, and Foden did it, and Bob can do it. And I reckon Savio might even be able to do it. I don't think it's necessarily, you have to change how you play, sure. You just place less emphasis on your striker and more so like on your wide players, for example. I don't think it's necessarily an inherent weakness.
Honestly,
Go ahead, go on.
I looked at City on the weekend, and it looked like those players were just like, at the end of the day, just coaching themselves. Like, they just so locked into the Pep system now, where he doesn't even have to
the wingers. Grigs, the wingers literally changed on their own. Like, I thought that was a Pep instruction. Pep said after. No, they just did it themselves. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
They've hit that point where they just coach themselves on the pitch, and when
They've been doing it for years, man.
When a team is that used to it,
I've
at the
never
end of the day,
seen
they just
Rory
title
so
favorites. Man.
defeated. It's unbelievable.
You know what it is, man? It's just like
I'm
these
not
guys have been doing
defeated.
it for year
You're
after
so
year after year
defeated.
after year.
I'm
You're
not
so
defeated.
defeated, Rory. It's unbelievable.
No, it's just
I'm
being
not
realistic, to be
defeated.
fair.
But I've always said, up until this summer, I'd always said, until someone beats City, City will always be the favourites. That's just how it works. Actually, I changed that this summer because I genuinely felt like their window hadn't been good enough. But bringing in Gundogan, like you have to acknowledge the effect that has. I'm not defeated. Don't you worry.
Yeah, Arsenal still have a great chance. They'll be there last day of the season, or there or thereabouts. Definitely. If they've not already won it by then, of course.
No, I think it's 50-50 because I think Arsenal, if they bring a forward and they brought Moreno already, Timber, I consider Timber a new signing. Thomas Partey has depth. I think Arsenal have done enough to keep in touch because last season, that's my opinion. I'm never going to change this.
But
I said that last season. Arsenal were equal to Man City. Anybody that tells me otherwise, you watch a different game. Arsenal were better defensively. City were better offensively. Head to head, you can tell. It was very close. Even Nobbins, me and you spoke about this. It was very small margins.
Yeah,
that made the difference in the two teams.
Exactly. And from a City perspective, in addition to all the other, from like if we take out the individual underperformances for a second, like Haaland not finishing, for example, just look at the dynamics of the squad. From my perspective, the main reason why that was the case was actually twofold. In the first instance, we didn't play wingers out wide. We brought in Savio. Looks like we are going to play wingers out wide this season. And then secondly, we didn't have a Gundogan replacement or Air, sorry. But those two issues have been resolved from a City perspective. So I'm now looking at Arsenal's activity, and I like the signing of Calafiori, Moreno. I just instinctively, I do feel like that they are one elite forward away from properly being in the okay. Now maybe we are the favourite sort of thing. I don't know who that player would be. You mean a winger or a
forward? You don't mean a striker? Can I just clarify this? You mean a winger or a striker? It doesn't have to be a striker. Like a lot of people say it's a striker. I don't care about the wingers. It's a striker.
Not necessarily. they've obviously got an elite player out on the right, of course. And of course, Havertz, Martinelli, these are exceptional forward players, etc. I don't know. I just feel like there's maybe like a missing. It's hard to quantify. Like a missing X factor sort of thing. Like a player who, when let's say again at Villa Park, it's 0-0, 85th minute. Who is the guy who will get you that clutch winner sort of thing? It's from a City. Well, maybe, but is that going to be enough? I don't know, because like City has, if we look at City and Liverpool, for example, there's so many players who we know can do it. Of course, Saka can do it for Arsenal and maybe some others, but I just feel like they need maybe another banker in terms of a forward player. And again, I don't know if that's a striker. I don't know if it's a left-sided player or a more versatile player. That's what instinctively I just look at their squad and I just think just one elite forward away from being, on City's level from a squad perspective. That's how I see it.
I'm looking at City and I think how many players do you think you have of this ilk? Rodri? Kevin De Bruyne?
What sort of
Haaland,
like...
We know that Haaland can do it on his own.
So Rodri, obviously, Haaland, Foden demonstrated last season he can do that. Gundogan's come back, and we know that he can do that. So that's four already that we are aware of. I haven't seen enough of Savio to comment on that. But yeah, it just seems to, and we also know obviously Liverpool have Salah, Trent, etc. Of course, Arsenal have brilliant players as well, but again, just instinctively, it just feels like there's one missing piece which just pushes them to the next level. Again, they're obviously a world-class team already. I just feel like there's one more to take them to that level, as I say.
Does Saliba qualify to be that guy that can win you the game by like a Van Dijk for Liverpool? Like he can keep a clean sheet with Gabriel. Do we think Declan Rice, who was clutch last season as a DM, by the way, can be that guy? Odegaard, when Odegaard is clutch, he's freaking clutch. Like the Bayern Munich pass, that was amazing. Like in the Champions League. Why are we discounting these players? Why we are hesitant? I'm asking the question. That's not my opinion. Why are people, our fans, you think are hesitant to say it out loud that these guys can be similar to the Man City guys, but for Arsenal? Why?
Because they're not as good as Cities. It's that simple. They don't have a Haaland. They don't have a De Bruyne. Those two players right there are bigger game changers.
It's not.
I would also add about repetition in it. Obviously last season we saw they did it in moments. We have to see again this season. Can they do that again and maybe even add more? That's the thing I always say. You have to have repetition.
That's the thing I'd say. I'd say that at times they can be at the same level as De Bruyne or Haaland. Maybe not Haaland. We don't have a Haaland, but I would say it's the repetition and it's just doing it. Even if it's once, it's doing it over the course of a Premier League season and winning the Premier League. We've not shown that we can do that yet. And again, last season there were points that we dropped because we didn't have someone that could step up and do that. Or against Bayern away, we didn't have someone that could step up and do that. So yeah, I think once they've proven it, I think if we go through a season where, and this is the thing that City do, it's almost like the way they rotate through clutch players. It's every week it's a different player that steps up and does it. I think if Arsenal do that, and 1 week it's Ødegaard and then it's Saka, and I do still think there probably is one missing forward that can also take that load. Until we do it, then people won't believe that we can do it, and I think that's the same with just winning the league. Until someone other than City does it, the assumption is that City will do it, which is fair.
I think the other thing is that of those four names you listed, you named two more defensive players, and obviously, what we're talking about with Arsenal going to the next level is, can you be elite in those offensive moments? And obviously, from set pieces, Saliba and Rice have demonstrated they can do that. But if we're talking about the elite offensive players, which was more my point, you've only been able to list two there. Whereas comparing it to City, there's De Bruyne and there's Haaland, and again, last season, Foden. I could even say Rodri, based on his offensive and creative contribution. So that's why I think another elite offensive player is what they're after.
I think that's what they're after. The problem is there is not someone in the market that can take them to the next level. There's only Wissa. There's Osimhen. A lot of people don't like that shout because of they're not convinced he's that guy. There is no winger that can take it to the next level. Arsenal were linked to Pedro Neto, as reported by Ornstein, but they moved away from the transfer. So who's there? Arsenal need to create their own. And that's what I always say. Sometimes Pep creates the monster himself. He doesn't have to buy the guy. He creates the guy. He made Bernardo Silva the way he is. He made Diaz, Akanji. He made Rodri this guy, right? Arteta did this maybe with Bukayo Saka. He improved Saliba. Gabriel, if people were talking about Gabriel being pushed out of the club just 2 years ago. Oh, you have bozo moments. You're not good enough for Arsenal. We need to move on. People can't get enough of Gabriel at the current moment at Arsenal. Odegaard failed at Real Madrid. Real Sociedad said, yeah, he's good, but he's not amazing. He's taken him to the next level. He did it with Martinelli, by the way. Martinelli 2 seasons ago was amazing. So I think Arteta needs maybe to take players to the next level. Havertz. Can he take Havertz to the next level? People keep forgetting that Havertz was amazing at Leverkusen. It's phenomenal at Leverkusen. Can he unlock that guy again? Can he be that guy for Arsenal? And I think that's the scary part about Arsenal. It's the last thing I'm going to say. The scary part about Arsenal is that people are afraid to say maybe Arteta can do this because he hasn't won the league. Maybe Arteta can do this. People fail to admit that he did it with multiple players. People are afraid to say it. That is the thing.
I predicted Arsenal to win the league before Gundogan signed, so I just want to point out I was not afraid to say that. FYI.
Yeah, I do think there's still one way you could maybe look at it is that a lot of the Arsenal players, you still think they're probably not at their absolute peak yet. Whereas with City, you're competing with most of obviously they've got new players like Oscar Bob and Rico Lewis coming through, but over the last couple of seasons, you've been looking at the majority of their squad thinking they are at their peak. Like Pepper's unlocked pretty much the best you can get out of them. Whereas there is still room for growth with a fair number of Arsenal players. So yeah, look, if we can see that this season, then we could win.
I'm going to ask a last question about this. Do people think that Arsenal may be scared to sign a striker to replace Havertz? You invested so much money in him. People love him. Arsenal fans love Kai Havertz. Love to rub his goals in rivals' fans. That's serious. That's actually serious. Every time Kai Havertz scores, you can hear the songs in the stadium. You see people praising him. When you invest that much energy and money and training, because I believe he improved over the Chelsea time massively, by the way. He improved, right? We have to admit that. If Arsenal go out now and get an Isak, Havertz's career at Arsenal is at risk as a number 9. You'll have to adapt to play an 8 or a winger or come off the bench. Do we think that's when maybe Arsenal are scared to get the next level striker or something? Or do you think Arsenal are willing to absolutely get the striker, bench Havertz, they can be ruthless?
I think Arteta's shown that he can be ruthless. I think he did it with Ramsdale. You know, Ramsdale was loved by the fans, had just signed a new contract. Everyone was happy with him. Arteta didn't care. We tried to buy Benjamin Sesko earlier in the summer. Now, maybe that wasn't seen as the elite striker that would instantly come in and start. But I think the whole way through, Arteta's been insistent that with Havertz, he sees him as a versatile player that could potentially even play off either side of the striker or as a second striker or as a midfielder as well. So I don't think that would stop him. I genuinely just think it's down to we really wanted Isak. That wasn't available. That wasn't an option this summer. We went for Sesko. We didn't get him. And outside of that, you're looking at Osimhen, who I think the club still think is too expensive for what he is. And I mean, I still want us to go and get Gyökeres, but outside of that, there's not a lot. There's not a lot knocking about, because then if you go down to the next tier below that, you're not improving on Havertz as a number 9.
You don't think Ivan Toney as a number 9 better than him? You don't think Oli Watkins is better than him?
It's even if they are, the step up isn't what we're after here with Arsenal. We're looking for an X factor signing to take them to that elite level. And Toney, as you say, very good striker. Watkins, very good striker. But not the ceiling raiser that I think.
Are they much better than Havertz to go and bench Havertz? That's what you mean.
Yeah, they're not.
No. They're not players who drastically
yeah.
increase the ceiling of what Arsenal is as a squad. I don't think.
I think, honestly, I think Isak is the one that like really takes them to a different level, because he looks like he's meant to be an Arsenal player, the way that he plays everything like that. Obviously, the Henry similarities in terms of the way that they play. And even if they sign an Isak, you could say that him and Havertz could play together because Isak loves to drift off to the left anyway a lot of times, and he's definitely got the dribbling to beat someone out wide. So that'd be interesting. And also, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not one of Kai Havertz's biggest fans, but in that front three, it's clearly Martinelli right now who's the biggest issue out of the three. Like Havertz is playing at a really good level, and even with Havertz, like Mo, you mentioned the Leverkusen days, Havertz was meant to be a world-class player from when he was at Leverkusen. He
was meant to be the next big German thing. The next big German thing.
Martinelli never had that level of talent to his name. So, like, I think if I'm Arsenal, the best of Havertz is better than the best of Martinelli, and the left winger, which is a much more frequent market, I guess, at the top level, because at the striker, like I just mentioned, it's really just Isak. At the left wing, there's new left wingers that come every single year that are like these game changers. Arsenal just have to find the right one. They haven't found it yet. Obviously, Nico Williams has a different case in himself with the release clause, the wages and stuff like that. It's the odd situation in the transfer market. But I'm sure next year there's going to be a new left winger that comes up to the market that looks like it's this new world star, stuff like that. So they just got to.
What do you think about Scalia? Because I think I don't think he's on the market, obviously, but like he might be the only other left wing guy I know other than
what
Nico
Williams.
Again.
I
know that's the thing.
Dealing with Napoli, man.
£100 million for Kvaratskhelia. It's a lot of money.
I know, but I feel like he does guarantee you some level of efficiency. I would argue on that left wing, he would guarantee you something.
He might be. There's no guarantees in the Premier League. I've seen Di Maria go from being a star at Real Madrid, go to Manchester United, and be sold right after because he just couldn't adapt. And that's Di Maria. And look at his career.
Di Maria adapted to the Premier League. He just ended up, his house got robbed. That's what ended up happening. He had like 15 GA in like his first 3 months at the club.
So you just say a United thing, yeah?
Yeah, respect that Leicester goal.
No. His house got robbed by some random people in Manchester. I blame Manchester. I don't blame United.
He's always getting robbed, bro. Got robbed at PSG, robbed at United. I don't know what's going on with that guy.
Maybe he needs better security.
He needs better security.
Guys, let's push the likes up a little bit. 600 people here. Hit that like button, people. Get the likes up a little bit. The likes help the show. Let's get to 400 likes like yesterday. Hit the like button underneath the live chat. Subscribe if you are new, on the way to 25K. So moving on from Arsenal and Manchester City, a lot of people. I wanted to speak about Chelsea a little bit. I don't think anybody watched the game yesterday. I believe nobody did.
All I knew
in the world.
That
I actually did, yeah. I actually was able to do it via the Swiss, by my uncle, actually. Big up to my unks from Switzerland. Gave me the link, so much appreciated to him. So I was able to watch it via him.
Osimhen is still linked to Chelsea. How much Osimhen takes Chelsea forward, guys? Where does Osimhen take Chelsea?
Are you sure that's Maresca's style of striker? Or he's going to have a cry about someone else?
They are in for Osimhen. That's a public information. Publicly, everyone reported that they want Osimhen. They just couldn't agree the deal. But if they agree the deal, Osimhen will be a Chelsea player. This is what's reported, to be honest. Which I think before the end of the season, before the end of the window, Osimhen is not even in the squad of Napoli. Like he's not even with them at the current moment. So
I think we'll get him on a loan. I think again we'll just probably get him on a loan with option to buy. The club is just trying to squeeze out Napoli towards the last day of the windows, where Osimhen doesn't really have an opportunity to move anywhere else, basically, and it's only a loan option via Chelsea they can move into. Again, I think with the level of creativity we've now kind of added with Neto, Nkunku, Palmer, I think we can at least create for Osimhen. So I think it improves us at the end of the day in terms of that. Clinically, he's better than Jackson and Mark Gui at the end of the day. Those guys still need to improve. So at least you're bringing in someone that's clinical enough to do the job for you. So again, he improves us quite a bit. Will he help us to get at least into the race of top 4, get into that 4th, 5th spot? I think so for sure. So just again for us, it's always about the defense, in my personal opinion, and how that really works out.
Are you going to sell someone if you bring in Osimhen?
We're trying to sell. Obviously, Sterling's leaving. We only have 2 strikers currently, in obviously Gui and Jackson. So he'd be the number 3 striker. So Gui would probably be in the in the UEFA Conference League, and Jackson can probably play. He's a bit more versatile. He can play on the left if we need him to.
Don't you still have Datro Fofana?
Yeah, but he's about to go to Leicester City on a loan of obligation.
Right. Do you still have Lukaku, or is he gone now?
Lukaku's about to go to Napoli. It's set to go to Napoli. Yeah,
Right.
we might be actually using him and like Chukwemeka because apparently this came out right now. Chukwemeka might be on the way to Napoli as well, so you might use those two as a make weight to get Osimhen basically.
I mean, you need a striker.
Uh,
You need a striker with confidence. I swear
I
to God,
agree,
like, just literally, whoever it is, they just need to be confident. It feels like every attacking option that you have or striking option just seems to immediately lose all confidence in their ability and shit the bed.
On some level, I feel like with Jackson, his issue is that before he even came to the club, he was not clinical enough. And like that was my issue with Jackson. Gui, he's like a young lad, innit? So I personally would have sent him out on loan, but with the club, he's decided to keep him for the season. But Osimhen, he's got confidence, he's clinical. That should be hopefully enough as long as you give him chances. Touch wood.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Pedro Neto now, so theoretically, not
Neto,
touchline winger.
Madueke on the right. Yeah,
Wow, where's Cole Palmer at?
Middle. I think we're gonna have to play in the middle.
Where's Nkunku at?
Guys, hold on.
Interchange, bro. Interchange.
Actually,
This is why.
Where's
Arsenal, hold on.
Nkunku at?
Actually, Arsenal are actually going for Nico Williams. Miguel
I don't-
Delaney posted that.
Yeah, Miguel Delaney is like
Miguel
so
Delaney,
so
right,
so.
Wait, is he a pinch of salt guy? Yeah, he's a pinch of salt. You got to take him.
It's
with
like,
a-
yeah.
No disrespect to Arsenal, but didn't Nico Williams say no to Barcelona?
Nah, I think he wanted Barca, but they obviously could not.
They
afford
can't
it.
even like get
Oh,
what's his
okay.
name.
I thought
Yeah.
that was I thought that was
They
before.
can't
Okay, I
register
thought that was
them, yeah.
before
No,
Arlo.
but
yeah.
that said, though, previously to that, he had said Barca was his dream. He wanted to stay in Spain. He's just been given the number 10 shirt.
Yeah.
And we can't
not
afford his
happening.
wages. We'd have to
It
absolutely
is.
obliterate our wage bill for him. So, yeah, I don't think
You
it's
gotta
gonna
have us
happen.
get 250k. If this guy makes sense.
That I know it's probably not going to happen, but that would be like the perfect elite forward that we've been talking about. By the way, Nico Williams
Thank
at
you.
Arsenal. That would be the ceiling raiser. That would be the difference.
And
maker,
this
I
is
think.
what I think should happen.
Good luck.
Arsenal should break the bank to get this guy to take them to the next
He
level.
loves
It shouldn't
athletic
be about the
club.
money.
He's staying
Like
in
what you
Bilbao.
did.
And he's
Like
making
what
a lot
you
of money
did,
there, you know.
you're right.
They
Nice
give
Spanish
him
club.
big money. 200
Us
euros a
Prem
week,
clubs-
you know.
Us Prem clubs have to give it up with the boss, bro. It's enough, bro.
Yeah.
Let
We'll have
those
to-
guys
I think
want
it's
to
Respect
stay
the
in.
Basque region.
No transfer. They don't bring in transfers. They just use the transfer money and wages. Those guys are living life, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you got to pay
If
the
Arsenal bring
release
make
clause
a
up
mo-
front,
if
too.
Arsenal bring this
Exactly.
guy, Nico Williams, I think it changes everything for them. Everything. They wouldn't
Hey,
need
look,
a striker.
I still have City as the title favorite.
But that's what we're talking about, Rory. Like when we talk about the next, you might have to break the bank for it. It doesn't matter.
No, I know. It's just not going to happen this window.
You're
Look
just
at how
telling me
mu-
what is going to
look at-
happen. You're telling me
Look at how
what is
much.
going to happen.
Yeah, we spent 7 weeks fighting over Marino to save about 3 million quid and make the payment terms better. Like
That must
we're
annoy
not
you as an
suddenly-
Arsenal fan, by the way, bro. Like, you know,
And by the way,
paying
at
over
the end,
this
you
much.
paid more, right? You paid 30 million euros plus 5.
Well, no. So they
355.
after the Euros, they suddenly decided that they wanted to add 10 mil to his value. So then we had to
Okay.
argue again, which is exactly what happened with Calafiori as well. But no, I'm well aware. We spent a lot of money last summer, and especially Declan Rice, we're still paying that off. So I just don't think we can do Nico Williams, especially with an upfront release clause of whatever it is, 80 million or something. So
I think you
80
can afford
million.
it from a
I
PSR.
think it's 50 million.
50,
Yeah.
is it 50?
50,
Yeah,
something like
I
that.
think so.
50 million, something like that.
I
Yeah.
think Arsenal
Pedro
can afford
Neto's
it. From
50 million pounds, guys. Go ahead, Norman. Sorry.
I would say just from a PSR perspective, I think Arsenal can afford it. I think they can spend like over 150 million quid still if they wanted to, before getting into the dodgy areas of having to sell. But I don't know how the wages would impact like a dressing room, for example. Like Arteta wants to keep like a coherent, happy dressing room like that. So
yeah, like, Nico Williams can't pull up and be on higher wages than Bukayo Saka like that.
yeah, it might cause
Yeah,
more
that's going to look a bit
disharmony.
The start,
Might not be
the
worth
I
star
thought
it.
players
Bukayo
getting less
Saka
money than
makes
the
the
main guy. It's
same.
crazy.
I think Bukayo Saka makes the same as Havertz, so less than
Yeah,
25
but they
million.
already said if Nico Williams moves to the Premier League, he'd want more money than he's already on.
Yeah,
So
he
He's
can't-
that
on
would take
200k
him-
right now. Mo.
Yeah.
He's on 200k right now. In the
He's
Basque
on
region.
200k euros.
Yeah, but bro, that,
Euros.
bro, that's like what 10,000 less, bro, than pounds. Like it's not even that big of a difference.
He's
honestly.
on 100. If Arsenal give him 225 or something, that's way more money. They give him 5-year contract. He's good. Anyway, my point is, Nobbin's point, not my point, is Arsenal need a player from that ilk. And then
Yes.
you're taking your starting 11 to a completely different level.
I mean, I'm still not 100% convinced that Nico Williams is
I need to move
that
on.
level. No, he's a needle
Really?
mover. He's better than Martinelli or Trossard, but he's not Saka, for example. He's just not.
I don't think Nico Williams is like to the level where he pushes Arsenal over City in a title. I don't think he's that.
He
level
needs a
yet.
year or two still. I think he still needs a year or two.
I like Nico a lot.
Referral.
I think he might be
Yeah.
that guy.
Hold
He
on.
might be,
Can
but
Can I understand? Okay, can I understand the three guys that said no? I'm going to start with Rory.
Yeah.
So which player you think is the level that you're talking about? I actually don't know.
I don't think there are many of them around. I think, you in terms of upgrading on Martinelli and Trossard, I think there's a fair few. I think Kvaratskhelia probably does. But in terms of like providing the same as what Saka provides, Rodrigo, that's actually available potentially. I don't think there's many out there. I think Nico Williams absolutely could well go on to be that guy, but I don't think he's done enough yet to prove that he is that guy. I mean, I can't remember exactly what it was. What's the most amount of goals? I don't think he's ever scored more than like
6. The maximum.
Yeah,
Six
is
has
it
been the
6
highest
league
in the
goals
Liga.
in a season?
6, yeah, and that was the season before. Last season he scored 5 goals, if I'm not mistaken, and I think it was
Yeah, he
9
got
I'm-
4
I'm- I'm gonna-
assists.
But can I respond to you, Rory? Do you know if Nico Williams already had 20 goals and he's established like what you think or what you said, he would have cost 100 million, not 50.
Oh yeah. No, I agree.
Doku, for example, when Man City got Doku, they paid 45 million pounds, if I'm not mistaken, plus 5 or something like this, because Doku is not established. If Doku was a player that used to get 20 goals a season for 2 seasons, he would have paid 100 something.
But
When Newcastle got
but
Isak,
But that's the point. With Doku's not a great example because for me, Doku isn't worth more than 45 million now because he's shown that his end product is not in the elite category. It's not even in the average category. It's shocking. But
Chill.
Doku, would you say that Doku has really raised City's level?
In respect of
I think Doku,
profiles,
for me, I
100%.
think Doku is much better. Oh, sorry, is that the question from Nobbins? Go ahead, Nobbins.
No, you were about to slander Grealish, weren't you? Good thing you stopped
Yeah.
yourself.
That's why I'm staying silent.
No,
That's why I'm
in
staying
terms of
silent.
from a
The thing
quality,
is, Doku is still the same guy.
Doku is not a better final third creator than Jack Grealish.
Yeah, again, the thing with
No
Doku,
way.
Doku is the same guy that I used to watch. Yeah, that I used to watch at Rennes, in the sense that he's a dribbling demon, but he's just the end product. It's just never there. Like, you know what I mean? It's
Doku-
just,
yeah.
Doku's got one dribbling move. I'm not gonna, he don't
I
got
can't lie
like
to you,
a
man.
bag
When I
like
was
that,
watching him in Ligue 1, bro, he was
Oh,
he was.
I'm
killing
telling
it,
you,
bro.
it doesn't matter if you got one move, but
If it works, it
every
works.
time.
It's
If
like
it
Robin.
works, basically.
obviously.
The
works, it
Nelson,
works.
the Nelson for Brazil back in the days. I don't think any of you know who the Nelson is. One move always worked. Always worked. Arjen Robben, it doesn't matter.
Always on his left.
If it works,
Not
it
on his left all
works.
the time, bro.
I think Doku's, I actually
if-
think Doku goes to Arsenal, starts tomorrow.
Well, yeah,
But
because
anyway,
the level's
that's
more
for a different
Nelly.
day. Different
I'm not
day.
sure.
Yeah.
Different day.
I'm not. We can debate that another time, but I'm not sure he would start. I think he has the exact same issue that I have with Martinelli in terms of he can get to the right place and then what? For me, if that was what we wanted, I'd be going after Johan Bakayoko. If we wanted a Doku, I'd be
Yeah,
going
that is
after
true.
Bakayoko because you get him on a quarter of the wages that you'd be paying Nico Williams, which is fine. That's acceptable because at that point you're not relying on that output being there pretty much straight away. So that's my only worry. Look, would I be happy if we signed Nico Williams? Absolutely. But I don't think it is the guaranteed level raiser that people think it is.
Why do you want ready-made players, Rory?
Because he wants
I
to
didn't
win.
say well,
What kind of
yeah,
question is that? What type
A,
of
because
question
I
is
want to
that?
beat City and you need ready-made player. But B, I don't necessarily require them to be a ready-made player, but they need to be a ready-made player if they're on ready-made player salary and they're costing ready-made player money. That's the issue I have. That's where I think, for example, I think Chelsea have gone wrong, where, okay, not on the salary front, but they've paid fees for players as if they're getting the ready-made player, and they've invested in Mudryk as the prime example. They've invested the money they spent on Mudryk was as if he had already proven that he was that guy, but you still have to actually get them to that level. So yeah, that's look. I'd be happy to sign Nico Williams.
But Rory, I think you fail to understand that Nico Williams isn't the price of a ready-made player. There is no ready-made player of that level. Okay, let me just give you an example. Let's imagine Foden is leaving City tomorrow. Okay, let's imagine this. Okay, God forbid, no. And he's going to Arsenal. Let's just start by how much do you think the fuel cost?
What for Foden?
What's the number? Give me a number.
130.
140, yeah. 130, 140.
Okay. How much do you think he's going to demand as a wages from Arsenal? Looking, and by the way, you need to look around the Premier League of Kevin De Bruyne's wages, Salah's wages. How much do you think Foden is going to demand?
A lot. Over 300.
That's why 200k for Nico Williams and 50k because he isn't ready-made.
Well, yeah.
Because you're paying for the prospect.
Well, yeah, but
because some people assume that 200k is a lot. In this day and age, it isn't.
But it is at Arsenal. This is, for Arsenal's wage bill, it puts him into the top 3 or 4 most expensive players on our wage bill. So then, when it comes, which we have to do soon, it comes to renegotiating Saka's contract and Saliba's contract. Then you've got the issue of them going, well, we're more important to this team than Nico Williams. So we want to be on board with him. And that's where it can quickly spiral.
You kind of set a standard that you don't want to.
Can I twist the question a little bit? Do you think you will be able to keep Saka, Saliba, Odegaard on this 200k?
No,
if
of course
there are
it's going to go up.
around.
No, of course. Their wages will go up as soon as they renew their contracts. But it's by how much
and it will go up to the level. Saka's going to look around and see Foden and 300k. I'm like, I'm providing the same to you. If you don't appreciate me that much, there are other clubs that are going to do that. Odegaard is going to look the same. I've been there, you know, in 2010, when Inter won the treble, all the players were wanted by Real Madrid. Inter had to double and triple the wages of Julio Cesar, Diego Milito, and these guys. Because they said, we won, we need more money. If you don't give us more money, we're gone. We're out of here. I think it's going to happen.
No, it will happen, and we will have to pay them a lot more. But you just make it far harder if not necessarily squad players, but you know, the players that aren't your absolute, that aren't your Sakas and Salibas, if they're looking around and they're saying, well, now I should be on 200k plus because I'm a decent starting player. That's the issue I think you have. Look, like I said, I'd happily sign Nico Williams. I think the potential is there. I'm just saying if we did it, you're not guaranteed a massive output from him, at least not straight away, because we've never seen it from him.
Would you rather have Neto from Chelsea?
No, but for multiple reasons, but no.
Injury,
the fact that he's got the same issue. He scored what, 11 goals in Premier League history or something like that. I still think you have a lack of output there. But as far as I'm aware, Neto is on nowhere near the same level of wages, so it wouldn't be as risky.
Let me do the super chats because they are related to what we're talking about. Andy B is saying, Nico, it'll be key for us with Saka better than Neto. Okay, he answered me before I even said it. Thank you, Andy. I think he's better than. I think Nico Williams, what he showed us, I think he takes Arsenal to a different level. I think he improves that starting 11 massively, in my opinion. Mo Mohammed, Habibi, Kvara to Liverpool is heating up. Napoli need the money. They're going to sell Osimhen. They're going to get money for Osimhen. I don't think they're going to sell Kvaratskhelia this window. Mo, I don't think it's going to happen this window, to be honest. Kelkestar, thank you so much for being back. Big up. City won the league last season without ever being that good or great. Over one of Arsenal's best ever seasons. Could take mid-90s point this season. Does anybody believe them that the points tally is going to increase this season for both teams?
City should be looking to get at least 94 points, yeah. At least.
You probably could get to the 90s range this year.
It should be mid to high 90s. It should be based on what City's squad is, outside of any like ridiculous injuries or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what it should be, I think. Yeah. And if they don't, then they've underperformed, in my opinion.
GDJ saying winning trophies equal more money, sponsors better pay. Well, Arsenal in a good place right now. I don't think anybody can just sit down and say that Arsenal aren't in a good place. Arsenal are in a good place, in my opinion.
Yeah, and with success does come, increased wage bills, as we've discussed. Like there was a period where Klopp's Liverpool were they had the highest wage bill in the Premier League at 1 point, for example. Because again, like with success, with being good, comes an expectation of if you get consistently getting like team of the years, it's like, well, I'm clearly one of the best defenders, midfielders, whatever in the league. I need to be paid as such. So yeah, Arsenal will, if they keep on their track, they will get to that stage sooner rather than later. Yeah.
That's the other thing as well. When we talk about what Arsenal can spend right now, I think Ornstein said it. Arsenal are looking forward to their potential PSR situation. And you'd imagine if they are looking to a place where suddenly Saliba's being paid a lot more and Saka's being paid a lot more and Ødegaard's being paid a lot more, I think they're being quite cautious now, knowing that the wage bill is going to go up probably quite significantly over the next couple of years, with the established starting 11 players all probably taking a lot more money.
100% it will happen. By the way, that's why I'm saying Arsenal, if they start winning the league, I don't think it's going to be a problem for you. You're going to get more sponsors. I think your fan base is actually, I think the last 2 years, I've seen young kids go back to wear Arsenal shirts, support Arsenal, wear Saka shirts, Ødegaard. I've seen it happening. Like I've seen it over the past 5 years with Manchester City since Pep came. In America, everywhere you go, you see kids wearing Man City. That's money. That's income to the club. That's people traveling, doing hospitality. That's a lot of money. And for the club, like viewership, sponsorships. Arsenal, if they win the league this season, I think it improves the financials massively, and the players will demand more. And I think it's gonna be. I think Arsenal in the right direction, but I think they just need to start winning. Like just coming second. But that's for a different day, to be honest. We'll see this weekend what is gonna happen for Chelsea, though. The Raheem Sterling situation is solved. He's gonna be sold to Crystal Palace or something like this.
Mm-hmm.
If Chelsea lose this game,
wait, what?
Crystal Palace are interested in Sterling, apparently, yeah.
And it's a real interest. It's actually David only like
it's
not like just.
And
It's
so
not
is
asking about his go ahead, Ahmed.
So
there's
that's
there's basically two main clubs. Yeah, it's Aston Villa and Crystal Palace. Apparently, are the two clubs that the most interest with him currently speaking.
So he's going to take a massive wage cut. Is that confirmed? Because
I don't know if I don't know if that's going to be the case. Maybe I think the club is going to help.
No,
I think the club might help to facilitate that. I think they might give him a portion of the wages that he's currently on to help him move on. I think that's probably.
I have seen this before, Nobel. So to tell you the situation, when Alexis Sanchez signed the 500K a week contract with Manchester United, they wanted to get him off the books. They wanted to remove him from their books. What they did is that they loaned him to Inter. We paid third of his wage for them to say, because he wasn't part of their plans. They just wanted him gone. And nobody wanted to pick up that wage from him. 500K was a lot of money. That I'm talking about 5 years ago. Right? Inter paid third, and Man United for 2 seasons paid the 2/3.
I think the
Maybe
thing about
Sterling will be in that situation.
I think with Sterling, he's on 325K a week. I wouldn't be surprised if the club, like, if he actually does an actual transfer to Crystal Palace, give him like a set amount of the contract that they agreed to amicably, and then it's moved on from there. That's probably the most likely scenario.
If I'm Sterling, I'm demanding all my money.
If I'm Sterling,
because they already spoke. Because listen, the club already spoke with him. He's already spoken with the club. Apparently, him and his representatives have spoken to the club, and apparently they're willing to amicably solve the situation. So he's willing to take a pay cut. So big up to him, man. Thank you.
Graham Potter didn't take a pay cut. Graham Potter
actually did take a pay cut, ironically too. But big up the party.
He's like, I'm getting paid my contract to the last dime.
He actually did not get. He actually did. We had an actual thing in his contract if we sacked him. So it was quite.
Because the thing is that you couldn't keep, unless Sterling went on loan rather than getting sold, you couldn't keep paying his salary.
Exactly.
If he joined another club, because Potter couldn't join another club if he still wanted the money from Chelsea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
we paid. I think it was like 12 million. I think we paid Potter, if I'm not mistaken.
How long? When does Sterling's contract end?
2 more years. So he's got 3 years remaining. this year and then the next 2 years afterwards.
And what's he on? 325 grand a week.
325 grand a week, yes.
So you still owe him like 30 mil.
Stuff like that, yeah. I again, listen, he'll take a pay cut to. I think Aston Villa or someone else will give him like 150, 60 or 70. Whatever's remaining of that, I think the club would probably like work out something for him to take. It wouldn't surprise me.
2 years left of his contract, right? 2 years left of his contract.
This year is 3, if you include this year that he's playing. So it's be 3. Same with Chilwell, by the way. Chilwell's got 3 years left in his deal too. He's another one we're trying to sell to. And he's on 200.
But then when we said Chelsea are giving 8 years contract, is not great.
No.
People
But these
said,
contracts were given. So the Sterling contract was given in the first summer. That was in when they came in. When we brought in for Tuchel, and then the Chilwell was an extension for 2 years extra because his actual contract was about to end. So they were like, we need to actually keep him on, sell him on. That was at least what they were saying.
Does anybody think here that Chelsea
high, bro.
Again, listen, I've said this before with Chelsea. I watched the game yesterday. I can't lie to you, bro. These guys were not taking that game seriously, man. They did not take that game seriously at all. And like Servette, I think after the first 15 minutes, they were onto us, bro, because these brothers did not take that game seriously. Therefore, we're just playing this random team in the Swiss league, and then they were just bopping us for a good like 45 minutes until like
Oh, do you know their name means napkin in French?
Yes, I do know,
That's
bro.
the team.
Yes,
That's the team they played yesterday.
Bro, I got my uncle was telling me all about this because he's a football guy in Switzerland, and he was like laughing at me the whole time. So it was not great. So
is that not worrying, by the way? The amount
it
of,
was
like,
worrying. I'll be honest. I've said it yesterday. I hope it's a
Don't
blip.
press the guy more. He's already
Listen,
depressed.
I said this. I've said it. It's already. I hope it's a blip. I said it before. I hope it's. Listen, I'm just gonna say, yeah. I hope it's a blip, honestly. And then against Wolves, we actually just show up. But I honestly believe what happened yesterday was that, the same issue we've had for quite a while, where it's like a mentality thing. Like when we face these smaller teams, it always seems like we take them a bit too easy, and that happened last season as well. Hopefully, that does not continue to be the case. But against Wolves, we'll show up for sure. I know.
But shouldn't like the one advantage of having this massive squad with so many players that want to play be that if you rotate for a game like that, those players that are getting the chance are going to like really fight for it to try and get themselves into the team?
That's a fair point. I hear you, and I agree with you, but I don't know what happened yesterday. Like, I just don't understand why they were. I think maybe it's a fitness thing.
There's no explanation.
It's really no explanation. The only thing I can really say, maybe it's a fitness thing.
But Matt, to be honest, yesterday I took Matt Duweke. I didn't watch the game. I watched now the highlights released.
Duweke was really good.
Matt Duweke was like, I'm starting next game. You're not benching me again.
Know
what I mean?
I've said it before. I'm a big fan of Madueke. I think as long as he improves his decision making,
he'll
be quality for the team.
Madueke actually fits the right wing under Marseca more than Cole Palmer does. I
agree. Because he's a touchline winger, and Palmer's not necessarily a touchline.
I wanted to ask. The reason why I put Cole Palmer on that thumbnail because I actually wanted to ask this question about Cole Palmer. Do we think he can thrive?
My hot take, because I had to do a video for someone.
The question?
I think I know what you're not, but yeah, go ahead. I think
Grigs, bro, chill out, big man. You know what I mean? Breathe, big man, breathe.
The viewers don't know. Do we think Palmer is gonna thrive under the system?
Not compared to last season, not as much.
No, not as much as last season. Because last season under Poch, he was given our attackers were literally given freedom. You know what I mean? They were like Poch was literally like to attackers, be free, do what you need to do to actually get goals. Like the rest of the team was not so much free, like the midfield and the defense. So I think in this one, he's gonna get double up on. We saw at City, he was getting double up on consistently. Just about him now learning, a new way to, help the team. It's not gonna necessarily be by GNA, but then at the end of the day, the striker should be taking some of that off of you. In Cuckoo, Neto, Madueke, all these attackers you've got now should be taking some level of that burden as well.
So all the talk about Palmer and Saka and Foden is just gonna go away now. You know what I mean? It's just
again, we just go. What I will say,
like,
listen, man, we'll see what happens. We'll see where you get to the end of the season. Let's see where you get to the end of the season, man.
I predicted Palmer.
What do you guys think? Forget the end of the season. I don't want to know what you guys think.
I think he'll still get 20, 25 GNA. I think this season probably get stuff like that. We'll still get that. But he won't be like
GA is.
He's not getting 25. I promise you, he's not getting 25.
He'll get 20, 25.
Last season got 25 GA. Foden, I think, got 28 GA.
Are you including penalties?
Bro, you're forgetting we still got Conference League to play and stuff like that. So we'll get.
I'm talking about the Premier League, bro. I
In the
don't
Premier League,
count the
then
Conference
I would
League.
say
You are playing F9 keyboard and napkins.
I would just. That's what I was.
I'm
I was
not
doing a little cheeky
counting
stat pad
that.
there.
I'm
I
not
did a
gonna
little
lie.
cheeky stat pad.
By
But
the
you
way,
know,
I'm not gonna lie.
Good.
Cole Palmer should not be touching Conference League football. Like that's
No one's touching
disrespectful to
Conference
Cole
League football
Palmer.
until the final. No one should be playing Conference League football.
You
until
had
the
to
final.
bring him on yesterday to save the game. What
Yeah,
are you
but listen,
talking
that's
about?
I'm hoping it's just a blip in it, but we should not be playing any of these guys. Once do it away. Like if you're away to Servette, away to
You
any of these
played the
places.
napkin yesterday. What when you play
Man.
the whole toilet roll in the
No,
next
no,
round?
Is he,
Go ahead.
I predicted Cole Palmer as my flop of the season. I don't
Oh,
think he's
flop?
gonna be good at all.
Okay, yeah.
No.
See,
You've
Grigs,
gone
Can
too
you
you're doing
elaborate?
far.
Okay,
No,
hold
you're
on,
doing
hold
too
on.
much now.
Give us the reason. Okay, hold on.
Because the
hot take,
expectation
give us
set
the
for him,
reason.
the expectation set for him. Last year he performed at a level of a PFA Player of the Year type level, the way that he was performing. So people are now expecting him to repeat that kind of level, but he's no longer under Poch's system where the whole attack runs through him. He now has to play for a manager that micromanages everything and wants his wingers to be this 1v1 demon touchline guy, which he's not. He's the type of guy that needs to link up with the 10 and kind of interchange and stuff like that. And I think he's going to struggle adapting to that kind of system, in my opinion. I don't think he's that kind of player. He's a maverick. Maresca's system, especially on the wing, is not really made for mavericks. So I think for me, Palmer's going to struggle when the expectation for him is set to be, you mentioned the Foden and the Saka. That's what we expect him to be, right? He's not going to be at that level. So therefore, by the definition of what flop means, he will technically be a flop. Because let's not forget, he is the type of guy, he just won PFA Young Player of the Year. So he's expected to even take a next jump because he's a young guy. So he's the next step in his career. And I think it's not even his fault because I think he's still a great player. It's the coaching change that happened that for me does not benefit him. And that's why I look at Chelsea. I'm like, how do you bring in a manager that doesn't suit your best player's needs?
What I would say is that Maresca's worked with him before. So I'm pretty sure that there's a way for Maresca and what's it called, Palmer to actually.
Where did he work with him?
I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, and I think when he was in the academy, if I'm not mistaken. So like again, he's worked, and he was the one that actually put him on the right wing initially. So again, I feel like he probably understands Palmer. I think Palmer, at least in his system, his best position is going to be in the middle. I actually do believe that.
Bro, the coach said that the Palmer needs to adjust to my system, not me adjust to him. That's really was a red flag.
But listen, again, managers say one thing in interviews, and then we see something different that happens on the pitch too. So.
Like Mudryk over Sterling and him being a bum. Is that what we see on the TV? That's what I saw.
Listen. We cooked Mudryk in it, and I personally don't want Mudryk to be starting for my team. I've said this before. So if he's playing Conference League minutes, I don't care. And if I see him in the EPL though, please no.
It will be a big. Sorry, Rory, you go.
No, you go.
So it will be a big test for Palmer. I think he will. I'm not going to go as far as Greg saying he'll flop. I think he will still have a good season, but this will be a big question of. Because he got a lot of correct praise last season, obviously, but as with Premier League England fans, all that came with comparisons to Foden, Saka, etc. Now, I would contend that what Saka and Foden did last, I in general argue it's harder to be in a system that Foden and Saka were in last year and thrive, because the whole point of Arsenal and City is that it is a team. Despite people's misconceptions, are a Pep system or Arteta system, it's not about one player. Saka never had freedom last year. Foden never had freedom last year. They have a particular role within a particular system. It was the exact opposite with Chelsea. So this will be a very interesting season to see. And I think he can do. I think he's good enough to do it. Can Palmer, in my opinion, do the harder thing and shine just as brightly, but in a system which doesn't allow him to shine as brightly by definition? That would be the interesting thing. I think he can do it, but it's harder. Again, despite what people think, it's harder for what Foden did at City last season, what Saka did at Arsenal last season, compared to what Palmer did last season in respective systems.
Yeah. I remember saying a lot of times last season, wait until Cole Palmer has to deal with what Saka has to deal with in terms of tripling up on him in low blocks. And some Chelsea fans insisted, no, Palmer has to deal with the same things, when clearly he didn't. And then against City, suddenly I'm seeing Chelsea fans, oh my God, they're doubling up on Palmer. What's he meant to do? I think this will be a season of learning for him. And if he is the level of player that he was touted to be, he will learn from the season. He will adapt to it, as any player that's at that level has had to do, because he will. Like, he was Chelsea's big threat last season. So obviously, if you're a coach of an opposition team going into it this season, you're going to say, right, lock off Cole Palmer. Even if it takes two of you the entire game, lock him off. And we'll try and deal with the rest of it ourselves. So yeah, look, it'll be a season of learning for him, and if he overcomes those challenges, then he's on the path to being an elite world-class player.
I agree.
Bermuda Gunnar here saying, Rory, you're shameless losing respect. Can you elaborate more? Why? Rory, I've said a lot of things in this show. Can you elaborate at least so you can have the right to respond, Rory? Like, this is it's a statement that without any substance in it. Like,
actually, it's not necessarily wrong, but some sort of context would be useful.
I don't think you're shameless at all here. By the way, you're very different.
How?
You're very like composed here, like calm, analyze things, like no outrageous statements. You know what I mean? Nothing.
This is the Rational League. What do you expect?
Yeah, I like it. For Manchester United, which is the last part of the show, let's talk about Manchester United a little bit since we have Grigs here. We're blessed to have Grigs here. Anybody, I don't know, falling for the Man United hype? The new hype of the new
There's
season?
hype.
Is there
Well,
hype?
hype. No.
hype.
I want to know what.
No, there is so much hype. Can I just explain?
There? I'm not being cheeky. Is there really?
There is so much hype that I had to title one of my videos Manchester United 10 out of 10 window.
Wow.
No, that's different hype though. That's transfer window hype. If we're talking about on the football hype, every single person last Friday told me that we looked the same exact shit against Fulham that we looked against like Wolves last season to start the game. That's what people told me. That's what the rivals fans told me. So where's the hype?
The rivals. The rivals. You're not talking about Man United.
But what are you feeling? What are you feeling?
We're talking about Man United.
I don't give.
Did you feel like you improved?
I mean, it wasn't hard to improve from that game against Wolves last year because that's one of the worst performances I've ever seen in my life. Because I saw Wolves have 27 shots on my crib pretty much. So it looked better. The press is still good. I still have concerns about off the ball issues in terms of the midfield. The midfield was still open a lot of the times, but our physical floor has improved a lot from last season, in my opinion. I think Casemiro is on Ozempic, so automatically his physical floor improves because the guy's waistline went down about 5 inches. He looks slim again. So that's good for him. The leg is obviously a monster off the ball. Mazraoui looked absolutely impeccable for me. That was an amazing debut. I think he improves the technical floor, and I think defensively he had a lot of grit about him, which is all you really need as a fullback. As long as you look interested and you're committed to making your tackles, you'll do just fine. Who else played? Maguire was amazing against Fulham. That was one of the best center-back performances I've seen from him in a long time. And yeah, we look good as a team. I think attacking, we still left a lot of food on the table. We probably could have scored about 5-6 goals. Bruno himself could have had about 5-6 GA. My fantasy team would have appreciated that, but he just wanted to just miss everything that day. And yeah, we look decent. Now it's just about going. I'm confident about United at home when it comes to home games. I don't think we'll be as bad as we were last year at home. I think the fans are a lot more excited this year because of the new ownership and stuff like that, and the crowd will carry United in games. My issue is away games. For example, tomorrow against Brighton, early kickoff. Because
You'll be smashed.
Our first 7 games are single televised games where we're the only that's the only match on TV at the time. So everyone's eyes are on us. They want to set us up for the haters. They're trying to make sure Rory eats. They're trying to make sure Nobbins eats. They're trying to make sure Mo eats. They're trying to make sure Ahmed eats. They got us on the big screen. I don't like that. I'm not gonna lie, but it is what it is. That's what happens when you're Manchester United. And I think Brighton's a good test. I watched the game against Everton. I think on the transition they look absolutely lethal with the guys that they've signed, like Minte, Adingra still there, Joao Pedro, Jorginho Rutter might even play tomorrow. That the guy that's in from Leeds. So I'm a little worried, but on the other hand, I saw Everton create a lot of opportunities against them, and Everton aren't good. For us, with the guys that we have, I expect to also create our first share chances, and I just hope I see Xerxes start because Xerxes' cameo moved me based on the fact that he wasn't getting the ball for the first 5 minutes, and he's like, okay, F this shit. I'm going to drop deep and go get the ball. Enough of 10 hot tactics. I'm just going to go get the ball, and he got involved in the play. And yeah, we look good. We still need another midfield signing. It's probably going to end up being Ugarte as much as I hate to admit it because I don't want to sign him. But it is what it is. I have to accept that George Mendes is running this transfer window. So what he wants, he gets. Nothing we could do with that in the world of football. We all know that. And yeah, we go from there. McTominay staying, unfortunately, because Napoli just
hold that, man.
Such a shame, man.
Hold on, is it McTominay leaving already?
No, he's
No,
staying. He's staying.
He's saying because like
man.
Chukwemeka's now going to
Fulham.
Napoli, innit?
Yeah, Fulham signed Sander Berge.
I have a question that is very general, right? It's for the rivals, for Ahmed, Rory, and Nob. A lot of Man United fans say rivals are scared of Man United coming back. Is
What,
that
this
something
season?
you're actually thinking about? Not this season, in general. Rivals are scared of Man United coming back. They hate to see us improve.
Well, they're going to come back at some point because they are the biggest club in England, probably. So by definition, they will come back. But if we're talking about this season, then no. But obviously, like even when they were going through the abject misery times, the Van Gaal, David Moyes, etc., this isn't the 1970s anymore, where a team who won the title and then 5 years later they might get relegated, which is what happened to Man United, for example. We're not living in those times anymore. Clubs are now too big to fail. So it's like Arsenal. They were a bit meh for however many years, but we all really knew that they're still a massive club there. They will eventually come back. It's like Chelsea now. They're not doing particularly good right now, but we all know they are going to be there or thereabouts. So yeah, from a long-term perspective, obviously, but I think that's for every single big club with a modicum of modern success, to be fair.
Again, in the short term, I'd probably say no. In the short term, no. But of course, in the medium term, if they keep on doing some of these transfers that I'm seeing,
I mean, to be fair,
maybe.
why am I getting asked this question? His club is even worse than mine right now.
Bro, listen. You finished below me last season. Just remember that.
Okay, you finished below me the year before that.
And we were
I won a trophy. I won a trophy last year. You win shit.
Come
You win shit.
on, Grigs.
That's a rational.
You're playing Napkin FC, by the way. You're playing Napkin FC. Worry about Napkin FC right now, please.
Bro. You're playing the Europa League too, you know. You're gonna be going to some of these places just like us. Come on, big man.
Europa League. Anyway, listen.
Class to it. Please respect Europa League. Thank you.
I love it.
This is crazy.
You know, I like it when Man United, when Chelsea finished 6th and Man United finished 8th, and then a guy finished above you, bro. Who cares?
No.
Who cares? It's shameful for both clubs.
Oh, absolutely. But we'll be. But I tell people, 2027 is the date I've set. Is the year I've set for when we should be properly competing for titles again. So that's 3 years away. I think by that point, if Ineos are legit,
so season 27-28.
Yes, season 27-28, we should legitimately be, because hopefully Pep is gone by then. We pray that Pep Guardiola is gone from this league by then. If Pep Guardiola is gone by then,
we need that demon gone. I can't lie to you. That demon.
We'll do a Gundogan. He'll leave for 1 year, come back. Easy.
No. Pep needs to go.
You can do a Mourinho afterwards, bro. Let him go somewhere else, bro.
It's time to go hang out with the kids. It's time to go hang out with the wife on the beach in Mallorca. That's what Pep needs to go do. Please, man. Please. Enough of the football, man. So by then we should be good because what Ineos have promised me, and so far they are delivering, except for Manuel Ugarte. But I'll allow that because I'm like 95% sure to get Lenny Yoro, we probably had to somewhat agree to get Manuel Ugarte. We should be good. I saw a signing that we made yesterday that obviously doesn't really matter right now. Some 17-year-old from Mali for like 1.3 mil or something like that. But it's those kind of signings.
Nobody cares. No one cares.
No. But it's those kind of signings that United haven't made in a long time. Because it's similar. Because he looks very similar to Moises Caicedo. United were offered Moises Caicedo for 5 mil in 2020. Our scouts touted him as the guy to go sign. We said no. Moises Caicedo ended up going to Brighton. He ended up being a 150 million player. The guy from Villa, John Duran, from Chicago Fire, he was available to us for 10 mil. And there goes my Wi-Fi.
Wow. Yes.
At least he knew it was. How did he know it was coming before it got?
He knew right away. It was,
it was
the second. Oh, Grigs is the genius. Bermuda Gunnar is saying Arsenal is an excellent team and the manager is excellent. Respect.
Right. So I don't think I've been as shamelessly optimistic about Arsenal as an Arsenal fan would like me to be. So no, we're winning it all. We're doing the quad. It's happening. Don't worry about it. City here.
Big up Bermuda.
All right.
Super chat. Ajax cast-offs. United ain't scaring anyone. Come on.
Again, this season they're not scary. I think they'll finish like between 5th and 8th.
Okay, so can I ask you, because Nobbins and Rory, who's finishing higher on the table? Chelsea or Man United?
United.
Give me an answer, Nobbins, please. Whatever. I don't care which one.
I don't know. No, I don't know. Instinctively, I'd say United. but I'm not confident in saying. I'm not comfortable saying that. That's not a locked-in prediction.
Okay. So it's like it's small margins. You still think?
Yeah, because again, I think Chelsea could finish. I think Chelsea could finish 4th. I think they also could finish 8th. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what to make of Chelsea.
I
It's like
actually know
United.
exactly what you mean.
Against
I
like
think
United,
Chelsea
they
to
could
finish 4th. Yeah.
Yeah, United could finish 4th, but again, I feel like they could finish 8th. I don't know where to place them.
I actually agree with what Nobin said. I actually think anyone from Villa, Newcastle, Spurs, United, Chelsea can finish anywhere from 4th to 9th. Anyone, any of them.
Yeah.
If the season picks up with Newcastle can finish top 4, and everyone else is fighting from 5th to 9th. If Chelsea get knocked out of the Conference League, or just not focus on the Conference League and focus on the league, and the wheels are moving, Chelsea can finish top 4. Any of they're very close between all of them, to be honest. The one that I think are not going to finish top 4, I don't think Spurs are going to finish top 4. I have a feeling that they just won't, for whatever reason, right? Sean here is saying United and Chelsea win nearly every window and get hyped.
I haven't won a window in like 55 years. What are you talking about?
You won the Pogba window.
I don't really feel like I should be talking about winning windows when.
No, we won the
winning
net spend
trophies.
FC. We won the net spend trophy. So
Yeah,
you
man,
know.
that's what you do. Live win it. So
I've hated. I think the last window I liked was 2021 when we signed Sancho, Varane, and Ronaldo, and that's because 7-year-old me was gassed that Ronaldo was back in my.
None of them were.
And actually, Varane ended up winning 2, contributing to 2 trophies on my football club. Please, thank you. And
oh my god, that trophy thing, bro.
Varane,
Yeah,
for FA Cups is crazy. Man.
Well, Varane was good at United. Ronaldo and Sancho have failed. Varane for 35 mil did a decent job. He wasn't a terrible signing. And the last one before that was Pogba. That was the last one that I enjoyed before that. That's about it.
It didn't work as well. So Grigs, United are doing Chelsea now, potential FC.
No, because United aren't signing 17-year-olds from the favelas. It's a completely different thing.
You don't even buy these many. Why is this 75? You know, you only bought 5 guys from Brazil.
A lot of players. Ahmed,
6 from Brazil. Actually, I can tell you.
Ahmed,
I think he's 6.
It's not only Guewi's under 20 years, bro. I think you said about
Brazil.
12 players under 20 years old. That's a lot of players.
I agree. Listen, let's not get twisted. I agree, but I'm just saying from Brazil, it's only 6. That's what I'm just trying to make a clarification.
6 from Brazil only Brazil. Anyway, listen, guys. Listen, we're gonna see you guys tomorrow for Rivals Rumble. It's gonna be at 9:30 UK time, but 2 hours after the Arsenal game. It's gonna be with Will. Grigs go away again. What's happening?
My wife has blown.
Anyway, listen, we're gonna see you tomorrow, guys, for Rivals Rumble on Saturday, and I might do a solo show tonight. Just hyping up Nico Williams to Arsenal, just talking about it, like just doing the shameless thing. Of course, we'll talk about it. But listen, before we go on, Nobin's channel in the description, Rory's channel in the description, The Bridge, Dan channel in the description, Griggs' channel in the description, and Tom Little, who couldn't join us today, in the description. Nobin's, what is coming up? Just tell the people what is coming up for you, please.
Across the season, probably following every single City game, there'll be a detailed analysis video. If you want to go watch my Chelsea analysis, you can do that, for example. There will also be numerous streams, including other analysis stuff, where I utilize my Sky Sports style touch screen and overhead camera. Would recommend if you like tactics and analysis. That's my channel. Absolutely. Rory, we're going live today.
Yeah, live 6:30 Villa, the Villa preview, and then watch along over on TIFO tomorrow.
Yeah, Bridge, Ahmed.
Obviously, today I always go live at 11 p.m. Make sure to tune in, talk about a few things about transfers and stuff, and then Saturday's always my preview for against Chelsea versus Wolves.
Griggs.
If you're anyone in the channel in the comments to subscribe to me already know the next couple weeks are a little shaky for me in terms of content because I'm busy. But once that ends, the US Open and stuff like that, I'll be back to daily streams for United and all that kind of other shit.
Right. I want to thank everybody that joined us. We still have about 800 people here, and we're not even on 300 likes. The like button helps the show, helps the channel. Make sure to hit it before you go, guys. The like button looks like thumbs up underneath the live chat. And I will see you guys later tonight or tomorrow. And we're out of here, people.